now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our June 24th Monday Soul Warriors meeting. Hope you are all doing well. For those of you that are live, hello. And for those of you that are watching this later, hello as well to you. We just wanted to connect as a team like we do every Monday. We have been going through an amazing book called Get Over Yourself, which I don't know about you. I just finished it today. Look at I blocked. I some choice. I have little kids in the house. If they go around reading, I'm like, but I love we as a team can just, take the nuggets that we need to grow our businesses. And I love it. So we want to start with some announcements. And I want to make you aware that we are starting our Smarter Detox group. It's already up and it has some activity already in it, which is awesome. We just had a webinar that Satinka and I led last Friday, and we had pretty good turnout, and we're going to do another one this Tuesday night at 7:30. So if you are interested at all to hear about the detox, and I mean, Satinka gave a super thorough explanation of why and just different things. It was really great. So if you are available tomorrow night at 7:30, hop on the webinar with us. Cindy, now you know how to get on, so you can join us. That'll be tomorrow night at 7:30, and you can invite to it. It's on Soul Warriors. The link for that meeting is on Soul Warriors and also on Spark Your Soul. So if you want to send the link to friends, if you want to, have them come join us, that's wonderful. That way you don't have to do all the explaining. Say, hey, we're having a webinar tomorrow night. Why don't you join us? And so that's a great place to have some people, if they're interested, to find out information. So with our Smarter Detox, that is our group that we have opened up. We have been saying that you can add people to it and they can kind of look around and see kind of what they're going to get themselves into. But if they don't purchase by the time we start, we have to remove or delete those people that are added in there. So go ahead and say, hey, I could even add you to the group so you can look around and kind of get a feel for what we're going to do. But you do have to purchase by this date, and if you don't purchase a package, then we're going to have to remove you. And so I like that idea because I've had some people before in other groups like, yeah, I'm going to buy, and you add them to the group, and then they're just kind of looking around, which it's kind of cool but kind of not, because you want all that information you're giving. You don't just want to give it for free. You want to make sure that they're on a program and a package they can follow. And so that is our next group. I do want to also remind you guys we are having an empowerment workshop. I had a webinar there, not webinar, workshop. It's going to be a workshop to grow our businesses, and I have a little bit of information. I'm pulling it up right now. But my friend Michelle Knight, that's from San Diego, she helps business women entrepreneurs build their businesses. So this presentation is going to be called Success in Business is in Your Mind. So a lot of times we battle stuff in our mind. It's our mindset. We're going to talk about things like fear, overcoming fear, the double-minded approach, staying connected, connecting purpose to profit, and having confidence versus competence. So there's going to be some great things that we're going to be learning. I'm excited because, as you know, in this business, we always need to be growing ourselves. Personal development is huge. We should be reading at least 10 minutes of a personal development book every day to grow ourselves. So I'm a reader. I read, my Bible every morning. I read devotional books. I read my business books. I read kids' books at night to the kids. I read all the time. But I read to my kids before bed. So, but it's so important to build, there's so many nuggets out there that people have journeys that can help us out. And so I know Michelle Knight has an amazing story, and she's going to be sharing with us July 13th from 10 to 1 p.m. And that's going to be at Lisa Tucker's home. So we don't have to drive too far unless you live farther, but that's super close for us who are local. And also I wanted to mention convention, our annual convention this year is in Snowbird, Utah, a beautiful resort in Utah. I just got to go to Utah last year and I fell in love. It's so beautiful. The mountain area, the rivers, lakes, whatever, the streams, beautiful, beautiful. And so we got a message today. Hi, Jess. Hi, Olga. I didn't say hi to Olga. We got a message today. I got a message on my phone saying if you need to book, if you're booking a hotel, please do so by July 1st. So if you need to do that, if you're going to convention, make sure you get on that and get your room and get your final payments made for that, which is kind of super fast. That is August 7th through the 10th, I think. I didn't write my dates down, but something around there. I think it's the second weekend of August. So, Lisa, do you have anything to add to anything so far I've mentioned?
Yeah, I just real quick wanted to add to the detox. There is a Drive file that has signups on it. If you're planning on being in the detox group and inviting people to it, you need to sign up to do something in the group. So you need to fill out the sign up schedule, what you want to post. And then also there's a second tab on there that lists the participants that you're putting in there. Even if you're putting people in right now that they're not going to stay, they're just in there looking around to see if it's something they want to do, please make sure you put them on the participants. So you put your name, you put their name, and then if they buy a package, you're going to actually put that on there too. But that way we can keep track, because the group is opened up to Kristen Bruinius. I don't know how to say her last name. Bruinius. I don't know. I'm butchering it. And Steph View. Their team is collaborating with us and adding a lot of positive energy and a lot of fun there. So, and if you missed Kristen talking about great ways to invite people using Facebook, Rose and I were just on a webinar with her that's in the Soul Happiness community. So you can go check that out after this call. That was it.
Okay, yeah, that was super great information. I was just like, whoa, that was really good. Some of the stuff that she was saying, especially about how to invite to these special groups, you know, we want to make sure that we're starting a conversation with someone, not just like, hi, do you want to join the detox? Or be like, nope, no thank you. We haven't talked in 20 years. You know, so we want to make sure that we are connecting with people on a, you know, on a different level, not just inviting them to all these things that we're doing. So let's see. Okay, thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. I had that on my list, but you know, didn't come out of my mouth. Okay, and then we're going to move now to our book, Getting Over Yourself, which I just mentioned that has really, really encouraged me. Some of the nuggets that I'm going to talk about tonight are from chapter 14, which we were to read chapters 14, 15, and 16. And so just want to share a little bit of what I pulled out of there. So that chapter is called Taking Care of You Along the Way. If you are a mom or a wife, even a woman, for goodness sakes, we know that we're super good at taking care of everything else and everybody else. But, you know, sometimes we have a hard time just taking care of ourselves or learning how to just rest and stop and breathe. So I love some of the things that she highlighted here was learn to say no. And that is something that comes hard for me. I was even somebody texted me this morning about a commitment, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like I have to pray that through. I have to kind of think that through with the busyness that I have going on in my life right now. But for me, it's hard. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. You know, I want to say yes to everything. But if I say yes to this one thing, that means that this other area is going to get neglected or not be present in this area. And so, you know, it's important to say no. And, you know, she talks about just priorities, like prioritizing where you want more of your energy to go to. The next one is say yes to help. I don't like I don't like getting help, especially from my mom. No, that's a joke. But you know, it's hard as women to, you know, to accept, you know, help from others. But we need to be able to do that. She mentions, you know, getting a house cleaner just so that, you know, you can spend your time and energy on building your business or connecting with people or making those calls, and, you know, really being able to be present in where you need to be present and building your business. And she also talks about getting a babysitter. If it's funny because she talks about if you want to just build your business in the 1 hour that your kids are napping, like that's not going to happen because we know that it takes time and effort, and you need to put a little more time in. So she says if you need to get a babysitter for 3 hours, on that one day or whatever, do it. It's okay. And I'm like, I love that because I homeschool. My kids are with me 24/7, and it's hard for me to get a sitter. Sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, like, what are they doing? Are they okay? And I'm like, yes, they're okay. And but I think it's good, especially if you're like, hey, I'm getting a sitter. I'm going to devote those 3 hours to my business or to making phone calls or to networking or whatever. That is super, super important. Just this last Friday, my sister and her boyfriend took my 4 kids to see a movie, and I was like just smitten, like, what do I do with myself? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to, send some invites out. So I spent like a good hour, no joke, inviting to the detox webinar and the detox group and, texting people, making some phone calls. And I had like a super productive 1 hour while I sat in my car waiting for a movie to start. Cause yes, I took myself to a movie. And that's good too. Like, taking that time out for you. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But being okay with, getting a babysitter or spending a little bit of money to somebody wash your car instead of you going out there to wash your car. The next one she says is say yes to personal development. We talked a little bit about that earlier, how, we should be reading 10 minutes a day in a personal development book. Maybe we watch a webinar. That's something that Soul has on, Soul has tons of webinars that have been put out by the company and by Dr. Allison and different things that you can spend 10 minutes watching that. And that could be your personal development for the day. Maybe you follow another leadership person like John Maxwell or Eric Worre, or, that's something that you can use for your personal development as well. She says she finds great wisdom and inspirations in her books about profession, business books, autobiographies, articles, self-help books. I mean, I'm always reading different things, and I find so many like great things in different books that I'm reading. So that was a good one I love. Say yes to exercise. I love this because I exercise all the time, and I think it's super important, especially the days where I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like it. That's when I really need to go because that's, where I get to clear my mind and I, go by myself. I usually walk or run around my neighborhood, and sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, and sometimes I don't listen to anything. And I'm just like, it's my time to breathe and just kind of mentally process some stuff. So, whether it's a walk around your neighborhood or you're popping in a DVD, or I have an awesome friend that comes over and we work out here in my backyard. So, whatever you need to do, if you exercise, you're just going to feel a lot better. She says you can't afford not to exercise. So I love that. Say yes to downtime. I love that one because we all need it. We need to unplug. We need to just unwind and have that downtime. I'm not sure about you guys that are on this call, but sometimes I just have to even put my phone in another room so that I can just have that time of like, okay, we're all here watching a movie as a family. I need to put my phone over there, and that's my downtime. I know Lisa has talked about like she doesn't work on Sundays, which is awesome because we need to set that time where we just are disconnected, not answering work emails, work texts, whatever, business stuff. So, and you know what? People need to realize that too. The clients that we're working with, you need, I mean, we should be telling them, hey, usually I don't work on Sundays, so, I'll get back to you on Monday or whatever, whenever you can. But downtime is super important. And she also says downtime it can't be work. So when we're doing our downtime, it can't be like, oh, I'm gonna go have coffee with a new client. No, it has to be not work related, which is awesome. Start your day the right way. I love that. And she says, if your cell phone is your alarm clock, that's not good. And that's mine. That's not good. That we need to have a separate alarm clock so that when we wake up, we're not like, oh my gosh, I have 25 notifications as soon as we open our eyes. I do that. I'm like, oh, and start like, I'm like, no. I try not to, and I always start my day with my Bible, my word, my devotional, I have gratitude journal that I write out my 10 things I'm grateful for every morning. And gratitude, I think, is super important to start the day. The next one is unplug, which that one's really hard, but unplugging from just our phones and everything that tries to draw our attention. Social media, it's constant. You know, she talks about it later in this, how we need to, like, when we have downtime, I know for me, when I have downtime, I'm scrolling Facebook, like scrolling. I'm like, no, I need to not do that. Like, I need to go do something else, go play with my kids, or go do something more productive. Put you know, some dinner on the stove to have dinner ready. But it's crazy how plugged in we are as a society, and how everything is like, you know, well, why didn't you text me back? It's like, wait, man, I was helping my kids with their homework. Relax. But you know, that's kind of the day and age we live in. Everybody wants an answer right away. And so try to unplug for a month, she said. If you're doing everything else you should be doing throughout your days, weeks, and years, then a soul-soothing unplugging will actually improve your health, happiness, and bottom line. And I love that. Unplugging is super important. Two more, celebrate the little victories. You know, sometimes we think just the big things should be celebrated, but it's the little things, like, you know, the tiny little victories. If you made a phone call to somebody and it was a successful phone call, yahoo, like that was an awesome phone call. Or whatever, you paid something, you know, you paid off the debt, or you did this, or your kid made it to the toilet without wetting their pants. Yahoo, like victory. Yeah, just the little things. And you know, I think too, showing your kids, at least for me, showing my kids, like when I have a business victory, I share it with them. Hey, we you know, we're gonna go to Hawaii that month because we met that goal. Or hey, mom, we got 2 more, you know, client members this week, or whatever. I always celebrate those things with my kids because I want them to know, hey, we're working hard. I'm working hard for you guys, and vice versa. The next one is be kind to yourself. We can be our biggest critics and our biggest enemies at times. You know, there's times where I'm like, man, I really am not doing good today. Or, you know, I didn't get to that, and that today. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, but we have to be kind to ourselves. You're going to have, she says, you're going to have days when everything goes to down there, but show yourself some grace and kindness. And you know what? You're going to have days where, you know, you're on top of everything and like everything went smooth. You're going to have some days where not everything goes well, but we have to remember have our mindset in the right place, and just know that we're working, you know, if we're working hard every day, we're working our business and we're doing the best we can. That's the least that we can do. And just getting, having that positive self-talk. You know, you can do better tomorrow, okay? Or if you need a pep talk from somebody, call Lisa. She'll encourage you. Text her. Pray for me. She's awesome at that. I love that about her. But you know, we are doing great. And so, and then, you know, the next chapter was about just involving your family, you know, with your business and what you're doing, and making it a family affair. My kids know that I love soul. They know I do soul. They make me laugh because, you know, if we see a kid upset at the store or they're throwing a fit, they're like, Mom, he really needs some soul right now. I'm like, yeah, they do. We should go talk to them. Just kidding. The mom's like freaking out. But you know, they know what we do. They know why we, you know, take care of our body and all that good stuff. And so it's excellent to include your family. Also to include, if you're married, your husband, your spouse. And she talks about that sometimes when we start these businesses, sometimes our husband's not on the same page as we are. We're all excited, like, oh yeah, you know, and we start you know, growing and going for it. And sometimes our husbands are on the same page with us, and it takes some time for them to get, okay, this is what you're doing. Okay, now I'm seeing a return. Okay, this is really worth it. And so that takes time. So that was a good chapter. And the last one, screw fear. I'm not going to say the other one, but talking about different fears that we go through in this business. Self-doubt. That one is super hard because I know I'm, you know, my mind gets bogged down with some of those fears as well. Like, what if I can't do this? What if it fails? What if I fail? What if I'm, you know, this is yada, yada, yada. And she just talks about how fear is emotional, which I'm like, oh, it is. And that we need to, you know, just overcome that and have courage in our business. Because I don't know about you guys, but just the last 2 weeks, I've had a lot of courage in what I'm doing. And I feel good after. I'm like, man, I made that phone call. It feels so good. Like, I feel like I can, jump on top of a mountain. But she says, the great news about fear, it's not our job to argue with it or fix it or to escape it. It's our job to act in spite of it. So just acting, she says, to grow, stretch, dream, and achieve was way greater than her fears. So I love that, because if we look at fear versus like our dreams and aspirations and what we want to do, like, come on, there's like no comparison there. So those are just a few things that I gleaned from these last few chapters, and I just love this book. It was really, really eye-opening. So I'm going to turn it over to Lisa for the rest of our training tonight. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Rose. That's so awesome. I'm like, I have all listed out, and I'm like, oh, good. She covered that, and she got that, and that's so awesome. It's like, wow, you made my job super easy tonight. I did want to touch on a couple things about it's a family affair, and something, because I know some of us, not all of us, but we get started in the business and our husbands aren't super on board. They just see us buying herbs and they're like, that really costs a lot of money. What are you doing? You could work at McDonald's and make more money. Because we're building a legacy and a big business, and it takes time. The front end takes a lot more time than the back end. So I loved that she said, share your why with your husband. I did not do that in the beginning. I didn't let him in on why this was so important to me. And my why has changed, and he does know my why now. To the point of last week, I was sobbing and telling him why this is so important to me. So he gets it now. And he became supportive once he started to go to conventions and things and see, wow, this is an amazing company. But including our spouse or significant other in the details of that, our why, and then she also gives great ways to help a not so supportive husband. So maybe you find yourself in that place right now where you're at the end where your husband isn't super supportive. She gives great suggestions on how to help them come on board with your business and help them understand why this is so important to you. So I love the aspects of that. And like Rose said, includes your kids. Like, she gets your kids involved in doing the day-to-day tasks, and Rose is including them in the celebrations, which that's awesome. And she talks to the kids about, well, you like that activity that you're doing right now, like karate or going to dance lessons. Well, the reason why you get to do that is because mommy's doing this. And so I love that she just includes them in seeing the bigger picture all the time. And it sounds like Rose is already doing that really well in her house. So that's awesome. And then I love the, in chapter 16, the F-bomb that she drops. I don't love that, but I love what Rose picked up on there's a checklist on page 215 through 217. And I highly recommend you take some time and go and underline every single one of those that resonates with you. I doubt they'll all resonate with you, but go and highlight those. Because they're fears from her top leaders currently. This is not like, oh, hey, 10 years ago when I started doing this business, I had these fears. No, that she went to her top leaders and asked them, what are you afraid of? And they listed these things, and you're like, come on now. Surely you're over that by now. But it's just a fact. We all struggle with fear. And it just can keep us so bunched up and moving forward and doing what we're called to do. There was a quote she quoted by Maya Angelou, and she said, there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you, So I challenge you, what is your untold story that you have not expressed, that you have not fully lived out? Tap into that. What is that you want to unfold? And don't let fear get in the way of that. and she ends by, do you have the guts to live full out? I love that. It's like, yes, do we have the guts to live full out? She also had some fun final words, just stuff, add-ins at the very end that she didn't know where to put in any other chapter, but there was some pretty great advice there too, right after chapter 16. So let me check the time. For some reason, my time is not showing up on my computer. We're having weird computer evenings. So hopefully watching the recording is not going to be garbly for you guys. I hope it comes out all clear. But I wanted to share some things with you, and being a faith-based person, I think most of us on the calls and recording are pretty faith-based and okay with that. And normally we don't talk a lot about that. It's a business call. I get that. We're trying to keep things professional, but I want to share some things with you today. So if you're not faith-based and that's going to annoy you, just turn off now and you can check back in next week. But I feel like I need to share this with you, and I will try and not get emotional, but it's something that I felt like God put on my heart this morning. And I was doing the Start Your Day Right. I love that even in this book with all the language, she is kind of faith-based, and she does get that we need to meditate and set an intention in the morning. And a lot of us, that's our quiet time and that our time that we spend with God. And in that, I was just contemplating some things about business and such. And last week was a hard week for me. I was talking to Denise about it a little bit this morning, and she goes, life is not for wimps. You gotta love Denise. It's so truthful. It doesn't matter what we do in life. It's just not, we can't be wimps to be able to survive in just our day-to-day life. Stuff happens. And so Brian and I are contemplating moving. As you can see, the big Noah's Ark thing. I'm looking at my wall. It's like, wow, it's really bare. The whole thing's off of the wall. I've been taking things down in our house so that we can paint, because we've been told, if you've ever been over to my house, there's a lot of color going on, especially in the kitchen. It's green. It's like this really bright color of green. And so the real estate agent told us, yeah, you need to kind of tone down all the color except for things that are real muted. So I've been in the process of pulling all the pictures down. Well, our house feels so empty. None of my babies are on the wall, and it's really hard. Brian came home the other day and he goes, this is depressing. And because we have so many memories here. And I think what's making it so hard is that, if you don't know, I lost my mom to a battle of cancer just 4 months ago now. And it feels like almost like another loss. And so I've really been struggling emotionally. Last week, was crying a lot, and I just have been having a hard time processing things. And so that's why I was saying, sometimes we're in this business. It's our business to run how we want, but life happens, life comes up. And I know that God is using this business to shape me. And even in this process, because we really don't know where we're being called. We know we're supposed to stay here locally, so I'm not going anywhere far, but just we're kind of really walking out in faith right now with the whole painting and taking things down and not really knowing where we're going. And so it feels very undone to me. I like things neat and tidy, and life feels kind of really undone. So I just want to encourage you, because I know that God is using this journey to shape me, and I know He uses it in you as well, this personal journey and your business journey. He's using each one of you to shape me. He is using not meeting my personal goals to shape me. And the reason why I share this with you is because I think sometimes we think some people are immune to things, and we're not. We all go through stuff, and we're not immune to disappointments. He's using these disappointments in this business to shape me. He's using team victories in this business to shape me. He is using month end living by faith to shape me and stretch me, as all of you can, I'm sure, say here in that. We all have goals that we like to reach by month end, and sometimes it just doesn't happen, and that shapes us. And watching people's lives change and your lives being changed shapes me and has a very powerful effect on me. He's using personal development in this business to shape me and ways that I have never been shaped before. I have been in church. I accepted Jesus when I was 4 years old, so I've been in church most of my life, and I have grown more and shaped and changed more in the past 4 years than I ever have in my whole entire life, which is kind of sad probably. And I don't feel like I tell you all often enough how proud I am of you. I thought I was going to make it through the whole list without getting emotional. But I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Your lives, watching the way that you grow and change, and is so impactful on me. And you guys inspire me. And even if I don't know you yet, if you're watching this on a recording, I know when I get to know you, you will shape and change my life. And so I just wanted to say thank you. I am beyond honored to be able to be in your life. And I am so, so thankful. And so thankful that Soul has brought us together. I mean, this is an amazing community, and it's all because we love Soul and we love each other. And so I'm confident that God is going to use this business in your life in ways that you could never, ever imagine or anticipate, as long as you don't give up and you don't quit. So I just felt like, I don't know, that I wanted to share these things with you, because I think sometimes life is hard. You know, it's not for wimps, and we run into seasons where it's hard. And I have some celebrations, but I want to wait until we get to that part to share my little victories. But I just wanted to just really thank you guys. I appreciate you more than you could possibly imagine. And I'm just so thankful to be doing life with you and be doing this business with you. So that was on my heart to share today. And I just wanted to share that. So I will turn it back to Rose to be able to share our celebrations. Oh, and Rose, do you want me to start it out with the one that Satinka sent me? That's Christina's. Okay, so you guys, because I didn't know this was on my phone, normally I'd put it on the computer and share it through Zoom, but I'm going to have to play it. But Christina, who is a specialist, if you don't know her, she has something that she wants to share, and it's a celebration. So I'm going to play her video and put it up here. So hopefully tell me if you can't hear it. Rose, you're the only one I can see. It's loading. Oh no, I can't hear it. Why? Why don't I hear? Oh, wait. I'm sorry, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Hi, y'all. For those that don't know me, I'm Christina. A little short story. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've been forever. Odd jobs here and there. My friend Satinka introduced me to Soul a couple years ago. I absolutely love it. Health, it's great. Awesomeness. We all know that. I've done multiple numbers of network marketing businesses, and I have a friend of 25 years. I've known her, we're like sisters. She would always joke with me and tease me that, I just did the businesses for the free stuff, which sometimes was true. But, it's different with Soul, obviously, because there's health benefits and there's benefit for me and for others, and I love it. Well, I was always worried about what she would think or say or anything, so I never really directly told her what I was doing, only just by, you know, she'd see random Facebook posts or something. And then when I started seeing her more, because I was bridesmaid in her wedding recently, started seeing her more, so she told me that she sees the change in me. She sees the way I am and how I've changed in the past even 6 months since Christmas. And since the last time I saw her was Christmas before her wedding. And that she's just so proud and so awesome, and she wanted to know what I was doing. So long story short, she thinks it's amazing. She is now a member. She's doing the detox program. She's ordered stuff she wants to try out for her son because she totally thinks it will help. And yay, I'm so excited. So there's some little good news.
That's so awesome. I love it. And I encourage you guys, if you can get those happy moments, like if people can't be on here live, please get them like that on video and let's celebrate with them. Even if they can't be on here on Monday nights, we still want to celebrate those. So that's awesome. Okay, that is super cool. Now I will turn the celebrations back over to Rose.
Okay, so yes, does anyone, Olga, do you have a celebration? Because it's only a few of us on here. Go ahead.
Yes, I have two actually. One is I was really afraid to reach out to two of my friends from Texas because I have one that is a member and she didn't really stick with the products, and it's not that it was the product, it was her, you know, that she just didn't want to fully commit. So it's not going to work if you don't fully commit. You have to be consistent, and she was just not willing to make those changes. And so I was afraid that to connect with my other two friends just because of her, but I dropped that fear. And so one of them got back to me and said she's interested, but not right now. So at least the communication is open. So, and I'm waiting for the other one to hear back. And also I posted something on my Facebook page, and I'm always thinking, oh, nobody reads it or whatever. But I had a girl that used to be our neighbor here, and she moved like about 1.5 years ago. And so I reached out to her and told her, you know, and she said, yeah, I'm interested. So we'll see, you know, it's just dropping that fear and reaching out. And so, yeah, I'm getting a little bit more braver. So that's it.
Woohoo! We love brave people. Okay, so I'll share my victories. I have a gal that reached out to me and said, hey, I think I want to buy some soul products. And I'm like, heck yes, I'm your girl. And so, you know, we talked about a few things, and she's like, you know, I think I just want to try one thing. And I'm like, no, you know, because of course I want the Soul Quick bonus, and I want to help her, you know, really get to the root of what's going on. And she's like, you know, I've been having migraines and da-da-da-da. So we had a really good phone call just about balancing your body and how, you know, the products work, and, you know, you need to start on a program. And she's like, okay, well, let me talk to my mom and I'll get back to you. She's younger. I want to say she's 22 or so. So she's like, well, you know, I'll call you in a few days so I can order. Well, that evening she talked to her mom, and she's like, I talked to my mom. She said, let's get the products ordered tonight. And I'm like, okay. So she got the products ordered, and she's been taking, you know, taking them. And I got a little nervous because she got a rash on her arm, and she's like, do you know if this might be from detoxing? And I'm like, yeah, maybe. I said, you know, every time our mind does this to us, when we start something new, something will happen. We'll get a little bump, and we'll start itching, and we're like, it's the product. I said, so honestly, I said, I would just keep doing then, but if you feel a little weird, I would cut down your packets and maybe only one adaptable instead of two. She's like, okay, I'll try that. So I checked in a few days and I'm like, how's the rash? She's like, it's gone. And I feel amazing. I haven't had a migraine in 3 days. And I'm like, yes! Because I'm like, these products are amazing. And so I know they work, and it really does, like Olga said, it's mindset. If you're like, if her mind would have been like, oh, it's the stuff, like, stop it, the rash, yada, yada. But she's totally there, and I'm just excited for her. She's moving to Lake Elsinore, so I'm like, yes! But I'm just excited that she, tried the products for one. I think she's been on my list for like 3 years, ever since I first started. So yeah, I'm excited for her. And then, another victory, it's not soul related, but I've had some battles with my older daughter. I think it's hormonal because she's getting to that age where, she's turning into a little woman, and it's been a little stressful. Today we had a situation. I had to call in reinforcements, her dad. But I'm just like, and then of course I'm texting my mom, and she's like, you need to pray, you need wisdom. I said, I know. So I'm like asking the Lord, because I'm pretty much in control, but when it gets to a certain point, I can kind of blow off the top, and then they're all screaming and yelling, and then it's like, and I've lost control. So I tried a new discipline action. I'm like, you're grounded, go to your room. And she didn't like it, because I think with her age, I can't really spank. I mean, she's 11, so I'm not really like, turn around, let me spank you, So I was like, go to your room, you're grounded. So I think it works, because she was very apologetic, and I don't want to be in my room. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to obey and not talk back to me. So, but I think it went really good. I think when Paul gets home later tonight, him and I will both talk with her and have a good talk. But, I had a little victory in my parenting today. So I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I'm not going crazy, and I'm super low and adaptable. So I'm like, Lord, make that one capsule stretch, whatever I need to do. But, it's tough, building a business, being a mom, doing all the things, getting the dinner cooked and the laundry and yada, yada, and being supportive to my husband who's working long hours. It's a lot. So I have been battling a little bit of like, man, I didn't reach out to this many people today. Man, I didn't invite, but I'm like, okay, no, like, I just need to breathe. I need to just unwind a little bit, and, just have those priorities set in place that we're learning in this book and through, our team. So yeah, that's mine. I can breathe now.
That's so awesome. And Denise, when I was talking to her today, she reminded me that because she told me the same thing. She's like, before you send a text to anybody or do anything, make sure your energy is right. Like, you've washed all your stuff off of you, because I think we think, I got to get my things in, I got to do my things, and we're all crazy, come out of some crazy situation, and then we're just like inviting, and we're just like, all of that's on us just goes right through that text message or whatever it is. Even if we don't say that, the intention is not right going out. And so that's awesome that you're realizing, and the book even says being kind to yourself. We are busy. We need to be our biggest cheerleaders, not the one that lays in bed at night and rips ourselves apart. You didn't do this and that and this and that checklist and got done, because that doesn't benefit anyone. So I love that. That's awesome. Yay. I'm so excited for both of you guys. That's awesome. And as I said, last week was not great for me. I was doing the business. I felt like literally, I told Brian at one point, I feel like I'm walking uphill and my hands are tied and my legs are tied and there's a masking tape over my mouth and there's stuff in my ears and I have mud on my feet while I'm trying to walk uphill. I mean, sometimes life just feels like that. It's like, oh my gosh, really? One thing after another. But I say all that because I know we all go through these seasons in life. And so I looked at my Teamsy for last week, and so I'm just standing on my celebrations, and my small things are that last week I had 73 connections in spite of all of that, 22 follow-ups, 30 invitations, and 8 ads in spite of all of that. And I don't say that to brag. I'm just celebrating that we can still do something in the midst of crazy and life not always going the way we want it. Sticking, being consistent will pay off. No one said yes to anything last week, and it's probably because Denise was right and my energy was not remotely good. But we can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So I was making those connections. Those things are just not yet, you know, they'll come around at some point in time and be able to have, it'll be a victory that I can celebrate at some other time. And so I have no idea what God is doing with my obedience or your obedience as you reach out and attempt to connect with somebody. But I know that our obedience is never wasted. So as we feel called to help people and better their life and ask them if the business is a good fit for them, as we have learned in our book, Great Language, we are being obedient to the calling, and God will bless that. He just will. It won't be wasted, whether it's for us, whether it's for them. It just will not be wasted. And today I reached out to a lady. Well, actually, she sent me a friend request, and she wanted, and so I accepted. I always look and see like if they're legit or not. And I went, and she looked legit. She was a real estate agent. And so I friended her. And then I always message, thank you for sending me a friend request. It's really nice to meet you. It looks like you do blah, blah, real estate or whatever. So I can start a conversation with them. And I do that too if they accept my friend request. So I just say, thanks for accepting my friend request. It's nice to meet you. It looks like you do blah, 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 or you love da-da-da, or whatever about their page. That's the way I kick off conversations with new people that I don't know. Well, I invited her almost right away to pop in the detox group and look around. She goes, I don't even know what that is, blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, no, it was a pretty cold shutdown, but I kept the conversation going. I go, oh, I totally get it. You know, detox is a weird word. Some people don't know. And so I just asked her, so what's your story? Because she had alluded a little bit in previous things to her story. She totally shared her whole health journey with me, and she has an amazing health journey, and we were able to connect on that level, and it was a great connection. She said no right now, but it's going to be a great connection over time. So we got to realize we're just building relationships. We're making relationships with people, and it's not a fast turnaround all the time. So I just encourage you guys not to give up. Don't quit, and you guys are amazing. Rose, I'll turn it back to you if you want to, I don't know, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think all of that was awesome. Just, I think you sharing about what you're going through and walking through was really encouraging to me, because sometimes I feel like you, those of you that are, you know, higher up than us, like don't go through. So I don't know why. Sometimes I think like, man, Steph View never has a bad day. Kristen Brinius never has it. But it's like, how about no? We're all human. I'm sure Denise has, you know, bad days too, or days where you feel like, man, I didn't reach that or hit that or whatever. So I think it's great to always remember that we're all human, and this business is hard. It's not for the easy, you know, it's not for the faint-hearted, and it's work. Like, you know, I always thought, this is so weird, but back in the day when I'd heard people do Herbalife or network marketing or whatever, I'd be like, dude, you know, that must be super easy because everybody does it and they must be making so much money. I never realized how hard it is to do it and to network and to connect and to, you know, all of this stuff and the conversations and all that. So I think for all of us to just keep pressing on and seeing what God has in store for us and never give up. So that's it. I think that's, yeah.
I'm going to stop the recording and then give me just 1 second before you pray, because I'll record it on here and put it in. And if you guys are watching this call and you do want to listen to the prayer, I always post it in the Soul Warriors Messenger group. That's where the prayer always is. So if you're watching the recording, make sure you're in the Soul Warrior Messenger group. And that's where this recording of the prayer goes. I just wanted to make sure everybody knows about that. Okay, I'm going to stop this. Thanks for being on here, guys.